How can you ever watch a game like that, folks? This afternoon is the quintessential reason why you absolutely, under no circumstances, tank. Under no circumstances do you tank. You do what we did today. You go out there and you play to win the game. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. But I'm doing this for my man, Richie. Richie!
How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And friends, the Devils riding a 3-game winning streak back at the Rock, hosting our bitter arch rivals from across the Hudson River, the New York Rangers. And what do our beloved New Jersey Devils do? They go out there and lay the smacketh down, beating the Rangers by a score of 6-3. Our man Jackie Boy with the hat trick on the empty net. 6-3 beating. Unfortunately, it's the first time we played the Devils. The first time we played the Rangers all season long. Completely ridiculous. But a beautiful 6-3 beatdown. A jack trick to cap off the W. And I must ask, I must know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Man, it feels good. Even though, listen, we are where we are, but 4 in a row. A beautiful game. We saw Gritz throwing the shots. There was a little intensity, and this is why you just got to keep trying to win, guys. I'm sorry, but for the tanking crowd, there is no tanking. This is New Jersey Devils trying to just make things interesting down the stretch, and our boy Jack, my friends, is he's a new man. He's a new man after getting that American swagger in Milano, scoring the golden goal, and he brings it back to the New Jersey Devils. Jackie Boy is an absolute Rangers killer. Whatever it is about this rivalry and playing the Rangers, number 86 brings it big time and punishes those guys every chance he could get. Love to see it once again. Love to see him getting some love on the national broadcast, obviously, from Messier, Subban, and the rest of those guys. But wow, what a game. What a game. We get to the goals. It didn't take long. Early on in the contest at 1:06, little rush up the ice and Cody Glass scanning for an available teammate to pass it to. Beautiful, beautiful pass. And at 1:06.
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at?
Where my boy at? Jesper Bratt buries the feed from Cody Glass for his 14th of the season, giving the Devils the 1-0 lead, and you love to see it. The Rock comes to life off of the Bratter goal. Great pass by Glass. Sorry, guys. Win or lose, we booze. Cheers. I'm going to get ripped. I'm back to my fruity flavored seltzers here. Taking a break from the beers. Cheers to all of you. Win or lose, we booze. Those victory drinks when it hits your lips. When it hits your lips, 4 games in a row, we're sipping victory drinks, and we're getting spoiled, guys. Let's see how far these boys could take it, but that's 4 in a row with the victory drinks. Cheers to all of you. Cheers to our beloved New Jersey Devils, and cheers to number 86, Jack Hughes, for crushing the Rangers' souls. Once again, one of the worst teams in the league, but hey, it's not going to stop my shine. Devils up 1-0 after the Bratter goal. About 5 minutes later at 6:26, Borgen beats Markey. Unfortunate goal to give up there, and we are all tied at 1, and it kind of sucked because 10 seconds later, I think this was the deflection one in front. I think this one was deflected. I can't remember. There's so many freaking goals, but Rangers 10 seconds later, 2 minutes and 10 seconds later. God, guys, it's been a long couple weeks. And my eyes are going. Gavrikov gives the Rangers the 2-1 lead, and at that point, I was like, man, I don't want this run to end. I'm despite the standings, I'm loving the winning streak. I'd like to see what these boys could do. And for those keeping track, this is only our second 4-game or more winning streak in like 3 years. So let's enjoy this. It hasn't happened all too often for this club. But Rangers up 2-1 at 8:36 of the first. And then I love late goals, by the way. Late goals against are horrible, but late goals for are absolutely amazing. And on the power play, Luke Hughes gets a shot through from the point. Nice deflectable shot. Mercer gets a piece. And at 19:47, Mercer gets his 15th from Luke Hughes and Gritz to tie it up at 2. That was an absolutely beautiful shot that gets through from Luke. Great tip by Mercer. And we are tied in the scoreathon. 2-2 after 1. We head to the second. And on the power play, once again, the power play. Got to give the kudos to the power play. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Jackie Boy winds up for the rare clapper. Love to see Jack Hughes incorporating the slap shot into his repertoire. We haven't seen a ton of them from him over the course of his career. He prefers to do his damage in other ways, but once in a while, he could uncork a slapper. And he does on the power play at 15:52 from Bratter and Dougie Hamilton, his 13th of the season, and first after scoring the golden goal, first with the New Jersey Devils post-Olympics, gives the Devils the 3-2 lead. And in typical New Jersey Devils fashion, they give it right back a minute and 1 second later at 16:53. Will Cooley, I think that one may have been a deflection, beats Markey to tie it up at 3. And once again on the season, the Devils go into the third period tied, needing to win a period to win the game. And at 8:05 from Jesper Bratt.
Pretty, and he lives in Jersey City, number 13, Nico Hishauza.
Nico Hishauza, the captain, El Capitan. His 21st of the season from Bratter and Jack Hughes gives the Devils the 4-3 lead. The Rock explodes. Love to see the power play clicking, their third power play goal of the day. Devils up 4-3. Later on in the period at 16:56, Jack Hughes finishes off an unbelievable breakaway, beats Quick for his second of the game, 14th of the season, assisted by Connor Brown. Devils up 5-3. And at that point, you're just like, finish the game strong and we got this in the bag. Don't have a total meltdown in the last few minutes. And they did not. The boys did not, with Quick on the bench. And the Rangers with the extra attacker, Connor Brown hits Jack. And Jack, beautiful play to stay on sides, kind of straddles the line, gets the puck, deposits it into the empty net from Brown and Kovacevic, his 15th of the season, completing the Jack trick, putting the dagger in the Rangers' hearts. And the New Jersey Devils, my friends, beat the New York Rangers. Beat the New York Rangers by a score of 63 in their first meeting of the season. And once again, ridiculous by the schedule makers. I mean, the fact that these two teams are basically in the toilet and this matchup, I mean, they're always going to be fun, right? This is a great game, by the way. You know, now back-to-back super exciting games for our beloved New Jersey Devils. Even if they had lost, you would have said they were exciting games. But when they're exciting games and they win, you get the double whammy there. But love to see it. 4 in a row. We get to the game stats. Rangers 19 shots on goal. Devils with 35. Devils putting a lot of rubber on Quick. Rangers getting the slight edge in the faceoff department, 54.8% to 45.2% for the Devils. Devils, this is a rare, you gotta tip the cap. Special teams, my friends. The Rangers go 0 for 4 on the power play, and the Devils a perfect 3 for 3 on the power play. This is a rare 100% for Devils special teams, collectively going 7 for 7. Let's fucking go. 7 for 7 on special teams. It's about damn time. Both the power play and penalty kill have had their fair of struggles over the past couple months here and there. And special teams used to be a pillar of strength for our beloved New Jersey Devils. And the season kind of started off that way. And then with all the injuries and the personnel change on the special units with all the injuries and then just the drought overall, special teams became a house of horrors. But once again, rebounding in a big way and go 7 for 7 on the day for the special teams for the Devils. Out hit by a large margin. Don't like to see that. Rangers with 23 hits, the Devils with 9 hits. Rangers 11 block shots, the Devils 12 block shots. Rangers with 22 giveaways, the Devils with 13 giveaways. The Rangers 5 takeaways, the Devils with 2 takeaways. And beating the Rangers never gets tiring, guys. I'll be honest. We could be in 31st and 32nd place in the league overall. And in the end, the rivalry always just brings the juice. We get to the player stats. Cody Glass with that beautiful assist on the Bratter goal to open up the scoring. Finishes with a block as well. Nico Heischer with the goal. A shot, a block, a hit. Connor Brown, 2 helpers on the day for Mr. Connor Brown with 2 shots. Timo Meyer, 6 shots, was involved in some rough stuff. He had a hit. Lenny Haminaho, 1 shot, 2 blocks, and a hit. Paulie Cotter with 2 hits. Jesper Brad, a 3-point night, a goal and 2 assists. Love to see that from Bratter. Obviously a down year from him, but love to see a 3-point game. 1 goal, 2 assists for the Bratter on 5 shots. Bukestad, I thought, looked pretty good today. He had a couple decent scoring chances. I think one of them was shorthanded on a backhand. I'm hoping that he can emerge as a very, very good 4C for us with the right line mates next season. You know, and like I said, the offseason has unofficially begun a while ago. But as it stands right now, 4 legitimate NHL centers on the roster for the first time in a very long time. And that's why I'm super happy we did not trade Cody Glass. I'm not happy we didn't trade anybody, but we've talked about that already. I mean, what a disastrous deadline day for the Devils. But happy that we still have all of our centers going into next season. That is one less thing for Fitz to have to fix. But, you know, my God. Gritz showing some toughness with a little fisticuffs, coming to his teammates' aid. Love to see that. Gritz giving the boys a jump there. An assist for Gritz and a shot. Jack Hughes, a 4-point outing for Jackie Boy. 3 goals and an assist for 4 points. 5 shots. Love to see that. Mercer with a goal, 2 shots and a block. On D, we got Dilly with a shot and 2 blocks. Dougie with 2 shots, a block, and a hit. Johnny Kovacevic, a shot, a block, and a hit. Luke Hughes, 4 shots and a block to go with his assist. Oh, I skipped over Johnny Kovacevic. I'm so sorry. 2 helpers from Johnny Kovacevic and 1 for Dougie. And Markey, 16 saves on 19 shots. Some unfortunate bounces from Markey. At least one of them he'd probably want back, but did make some huge saves, including that one that comes out to mind when he stretched across and went left to right, stretching off the post. Big save. I forget what Ranger it was on. But 16 saves, 4 Markey on 19 shots. And wow, guys, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably a little more excited than I should be for the dub here. But the fact that, you know, Jack had the hat trick, 4 points, and just beating the Rangers, it always feels great. But obviously, it doesn't change anything in the grand scheme of the season. But like I've said, guys, I'm going to root for this team to win. People that think we should tank, I mean, come on, man. How are you not going to be excited after a game like this? Despite the standings, beating the Rangers is beating the Rangers, and beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And hopefully they could ride the wave into tomorrow to really make it more interesting. I mean, it sucks the Bruins won today. We couldn't get any help from the Capitals, but let me take a look. I caught some of that game. The Capitals looked like they were in survival mode. Yeah, so now we're still 9 behind the Bruins and 9 behind the Islanders. And you never know. I mean, obviously, we've talked about this. You know, the mathematical probabilities here are not great, but, you know, you got to root for the boys. Hopefully they finish the season on a high note. We'll see how interesting they can make it. And maybe some teams fall off and they go on a little bit of a heater, obviously riding 4 games. Obviously, closing soon. The limited edition, drop the link in the chat. American Swagger. Jack has American Swagger. Do you have American Swagger? American Swagger hoodies and T-shirts. Got the whatever it takes. T-shirts and hoodies on the website. Multiple colors, champion garments. No garbage here. High quality stuff. Celebrate the enormous USA win. And now we get to the comments. Let's see. Tropical Flamingo says, Rags suck. Doug, they play more connected and stick up for each other. Liquid Sky, we have hat trick for Jack. Lil Drewski, why couldn't they play like this all year? Not going to lie, I'm enjoying this run right now. Of course, if you're a fan of this team, it feels good despite everything else. And who knows? Maybe they could just keep it going, but love to see it. Winning hockey, the second 4-game winning streak in 3 or so years. Sherry says, Gritz with the Tropical Flamingo, play with passion, fight, energy against teams like the Rangers and Wings. You would think we will show that, and we did today. Detroit is a nasty team, but no Larkin tomorrow helps our cause. Yeah, that's another rivalry kind of heating up over the past couple seasons. Some bad blood brewing between the Devils and the Wings. Robert says, Hughes, yo, daddy. Billy says, let's go. Season may be awful, but watching Jack on the Rangers feels great. Let's go Devils. It never gets old. And to see Jack with the 4-point night. We got John says hat trick and a TKO for Gritzy. Crazy Alex, high highs and low lows take the wins. Cape Dweller, great game. I can do without the back and forth, though. Yeah, obviously, but, this is the Cardiac Kids. You're not going to get a blowout victory. It's got to be a back and forth. It's got to be a little dramatic, right? I mean, they have the flair for the dramatic. Where's James? He says, Jack Hughes owns the New Jersey Devils. Bonzo, is that the first game they scored 6? I think they may have got it one other game. Someone has to check that. John, NJDevils, what's up, Ace? Victory Beverages. Cheers to you, John. Victory Beverages on a Saturday night. Love it. Absolutely love it. 4 games in a row of victory drinks. Unreal. Danny, I forgot that. Thank you for bringing this up, Danny. When Jack pointed to the crest, I love it. Yeah, after that goal, he was like, boom, like popping the jersey. Oh, man. Guys, we're watching the maturation of Jack Hughes just becoming a new player. And like I said before the Olympics, this is for the people that were like, Jack shouldn't go to the Olympics. Like, listen, I wasn't happy that he didn't play those last Devils games either. Like, I think that was kind of BS. With that being said, I'd also said that the experience is invaluable for a guy like Jack to go play with all these veteran leaders and winners and just be there and marinate in that environment, both in the locker room, off the ice, during the games. And obviously, I don't think it's disputable at this point that this kid has just grown leaps and bounds in less than a month. I mean, it's remarkable to see. The interviews are phenomenal. Like I said, if you haven't seen the Pat McAfee interview with Jack, I implore you to watch that entire thing. It's just 45 minutes of amazing content. Phenomenal stuff. Tropical Flamingo says, thank you for bringing it back, Ace. Don't get crazy. I busted it out for the Rangers game. Doug, all those wanting to tank are probably upset right now. Probably, but tanking is just psychotic, in my opinion. Nick, Jack pointing to the Devils' crest after his goal was the highlight of the game. Kid is proud to be a Devil. Love it. Yeah. New Jersey pride, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Doug says winning feels good. Yes, it does. Ethan says Ace is looking so cute today. I hope Ethan is a woman on her husband's account, or not husband, friend's account. I don't know. Sherry Bratter. Doug, just sucks we won't be playing in the postseason. Yeah, well, listen, they might make it interesting. You never know. You never know what could happen. I mean, obviously we need teams that we're chasing to just start sucking. That would be amazing. But 9 points behind the Islanders. And what did I say? Hold on. And 9 behind the Bruins. Yeah, I mean, wow. Same amount of games remaining. 19 games remaining. That's a lot of points, guys. Not a lot of runway left, despite what Fitzy may have thought. Jack hat-trick, huge. Bonzo says we need to win 14 in a row. That would be absolutely sick. C-Bones, this is the one win I want no matter what. Great win. I hate this team right now, but I hate the Rangers more. Let's go Devils. Huff the copium. The Bosso Cat, some things never change. We own the Rags. Sunrise Arts, not saying they can make the playoffs, but there's no better way to make miracles happen than by winning streaks. Yeah, I mean, you can only control what you can control. Just keep winning. Just keep winning and hope we get some help from the outside. Evan says, if we beat Detroit, I will take this winning streak seriously. Doug, Boston won today and we're still 9 points behind and a game more played. Yeah, well, that's why we got to catch the Isles. Jay Snow, 100% he's going to sell HBSE. Look, when we're fully healthy, we're a good team. 100% he's going to sell. Oh, how he's going to justify keeping his job. But, I mean, just the results are the results. Over the past few seasons, like, to continually use a health excuse, you know how I feel about all this. I'm still kind of shocked over yesterday. Doug, aren't you happy we're winning? Like, come on, this has actually been good to watch, unlike our sorry-ass general manager. George, we do not need a high draft pick. A rookie will do nothing for this team. Tell him, George. Devs need to learn to play as a team like they have been these last few games. Yeah, I don't care what pick we end up. You guys already know. I want to trade that. Trade that for immediate help. If you do not make a push with this group immediately, it is another failure on top of the dozens of pre-existing failures. Precious seasons of Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, Timo Meier, precious years of their careers are being flushed down the toilet. flush down the toilet, and they're not dumb. They see what goes on. They see the moves other teams make. They see the Devils not spending LTIR money. And so the push must happen now. I thought it was going to, at least the first couple steps were going to happen yesterday, at least selling off a defenseman or two to free up cap space heading into the summer. And now we have kind of painted ourselves in a corner where the entire world knows the Devils need to get rid of a defenseman. And they're looking to add up front. I mean, I don't think that's any secret, but I feel like the first couple steps should have been taken yesterday. They were not. And now that's more on Fitz's plate for this summer. Yes, I do believe Fitz is coming back no matter what. For those that still believe there's a chance he's canned, I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. But that's just even more work that he's going to have to do in the summer. But we're going to see. This team definitely needs some help. And hopefully Jack gets that legit top six winger to play with. And then we make the proper bottom six additions. Not guys like Dodonov, not guys like Glendening, et cetera, et cetera. But it looks like we might have a decent one in Bukestad. Hopefully he can pan out as a nice 4C for us. Figure out what the lines are going to be in training camp. And hopefully come October, this team could do something. But they definitely need some help. Doug says Gritz is such a dog. Absolutely. Anson, winning is what we want, but it allows Fitz more security. At this point, I don't know that the performance of the team down the stretch really has any bearing on his job. Like if he was going to get fired, I think it would have happened plenty of times already, and he wouldn't have been here to do nothing on the deadline day. Now, a lot of people, I thought of this too, but a lot of people are like, oh, maybe ownership told him he can't do anything because he's going to get fired in the offseason. But like, that just doesn't make sense to me, because if that was the case, why wouldn't you have fired him sooner and then have someone else come in and take over sooner? Like, it just doesn't seem like something they would do. And the fact that in the post-game, or not the post-game, but the press conference he did yesterday, he said, me and David Blitz are in lockstep, baby. I'll be back next year. So I have no reason to believe that that's a lie. I do believe he has put some sort of magic spell on the ownership group and has a near lifetime gig as general manager of the Devils. And not only general manager, president of hockey operations. That a lot of people forget that. He's not only the general manager, he's the president of hockey ops. He is the big dog. So whatever he's telling them, it's working. He's kept this job, and it seems like he's going to be here next year. And I'm so curious to see what the hell he does in the summer, because there is a lot of work to do to get this team back to dominance. Puck Rock Ranger said, came here to congratulate you for beating our post-apocalyptic roster. For real, though, nice game by Jack the Ripper. Thank you, sir. Jack is a beast. Absolute beast, riding high off the golden goal. Rider64, my man Gritz needs props for punching first and asking questions later. Love to see it. Absolutely. I will never care about, some people are like, you shouldn't retaliate because you get a penalty. Like, bullshit, man. In a game like this, I don't even care. And that was a big moment of the game, too. He put us shorthanded when it was tied, I think 3-3 at that point. They could have lost the game, but sometimes you need to rely on the boys to bail you out with a big penalty kill. They did just that for Gritz, and love to see it. Balls of steel. Gritz is just like, screw it. Gloves off, just throwing overhands. Even the broadcast team was like, whoa, we didn't know Gritz had this in him. And Gritz is a little fiery. Don't let him fool you. And he's also deceivingly a little stocky. Love to see the animosity from Gritz. Doug Sebastian, if no one got fired after a 9-0 loss to the Isles, then how can you expect him to not get fired anyways? You might as well win. Exactly. Jason said, Gritz is a dog. Pay that man his money. I'm very curious to see where his contract ends up. Obviously, a restricted free agent this summer. I am a little nervous about restricted free agents now that we've seen the incidents play out the last 2 years with obviously Luke Hughes' very public contract squabble and Dawson Mercer the year before. Hopefully this gets squared away. Like, can we just get it squared away like immediately? Wait, I don't even want the calendar to hit September. Can we set like a hard deadline of like, I don't know, August 27th? Let's just arbitrarily pick a date like that and be like, Gritz must be signed by then. Troy Machine says, imagine the standings if the power play was as consistent as tonight. No, and then the power play, obviously, when Jack was injured, sucked, and then it sucked for a while when he came back. I do think he was severely hampered with the one hand, obviously, post-Chicago cut. But if the power play was as lethal as it was tonight, which it was, most of last year, if we kept that level of potency on the power play, I do think it could be a lot different. And you're talking about even if we had 3 more wins, to everything, the whole outlook for the rest of the season would be much more interesting. But here we are. That's not what happened. Tropical Flamingo, Calgary stinks. We get them next week. LA Kings bit in transition. If we beat the Wings tomorrow, definitely opportunity in the next 2 for sure before the Boston game. Yeah, that's another big one. I don't think we play the Isles again. Yeah, Boston's a big one on the 16th. Obviously a huge, if you're trying to close that gap. And yeah, the Isles, yeah, no more Isles. Pittsburgh only has played, they have 2 games in hand on us, and they have the same amount of points. But without Sid and Malkin suspended, maybe they could slip a little bit. That would be nice. Vecna Fitzgerald says, Luke with the 100th apple in 204 games. Love to see it. Jason O said, we've been playing all the worst teams. Listen, you can only beat who they put in front of you. We'll see against the Wings. Yeah, I mean, that's another big road trip coming up, too, at the end of the month. Dallas, Nashville, Carolina. Oof. Michael says, regardless of the stats, Markey had a great game. Yeah, he had some big-time saves. Big time saves. Wasted Youth Caper says, okay, Ace, I was not a fan of Jack for partying with douche pedal and going to the White House, but I'm back in love. Just separate it all, man. It's not that serious. Traveling says, F tanking. Crazy. Did this win definitely masks the pain? Snow says, what was Jack going to do? Kick Patel. Oh, God. You guys are still talking about this. Doug, well, we lost because we couldn't even score more than 1 goal in like 90% of our losses. Yeah, the inability to score goals regularly crushed this team. I know a lot of people are like, oh, down on Markey and stuff earlier in the season. But as I've said before, Markey didn't have a great season. But when you only score 1 goal a game, like, it doesn't even matter. Ryder64, we beat Detroit, and words may have to be said about our chances. Blues 2019. A lot of people have been bringing this up. I mean, we still need outside help, and it sucks. It sucks because it's just like if there was another 5 games, if there was 24 games left instead of 19, it's a little more wiggle room. But Nicole says, I'm just happy I finally got to throw a hat. Not enough hats were on the ice, but hours were there. We'll take what we could get. You go, girl. I'm proud of you, Nicole. You know I am proud of you. You guys know my policy on hat tricks. If you are at a game and the Devils score a hat trick, I don't care if you just bought the hat on your head at the Devils team store 10 minutes prior for $45. If you just bought that hat, if you wore it from home, it does not matter. If you witness a live hat trick, you take that puppy off and you frisbee that thing onto the ice. Good for you, Nicole. Good for you. You did your civil duty as a fan. Salute to you, and I'm assuming you're with your husband for getting your hats on the ice because that's what good fans do. That is what good fans do. Tropical Flamingo, winning is the only thing to want. Losses suck. They kill you as a diehard, so hard to see and deal with when we lose. This stretch is awesome. Let's go Devils. I agree. Snow says the Blues started their run after Christmas. Yeah, it wasn't as late as we are here. The runway is super, super short. The Kane, if the Islanders lose tonight, we remain 9 back of them, but it would be 7 if we take tomorrow's game. Adam, keep in mind other teams have been hot, could fall off. Yeah, we need all the outside help we could get, but Devil Dog says every player was tradable in this chat before the Olympic break. They still were, for me. Nothing changed. Anson, I think we'd all like the same things. Playoffs, fire fits, high draft pick if we can't get in. Winning is always the aim. Yeah, I don't think we're getting... the crazy part is we might go 0 for 3 on your list, Anson. Probably not going to make the playoffs. Fitz is definitely coming back, and we're going to end up with like a middle pick. But listen, just end the season on a high note. Doug says, I just wanted Dougie gone. It seemed like the sensible move, but obviously after we saw the Fitz press conference, he didn't even make him available, which really makes me believe that Nemo is going to be traded this summer. I mean, I might make a whole separate video about that. I have so many thoughts about that. But I'm not going to go on a tangent here about it because it's a lot. But, oh, by the way, you got to follow your boy. Follow your boy on X. I'm getting a little more involved on there. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to drop the link. Just drop the links in the chat there for X and Instagram. Follow. I got some news coming soon. But, yeah, running with NJD on X, Twitter. And running with the NJ Devils on the Instagram. Follow your boy. All right, I'm trying to. Backs and Racks is more proof that Grit's got to be with this team the rest of his career. I mean, it is extremely rare that we see stuff like that, obviously, in today's day and age with the salary cap and all the money these guys make. But I, like many others, I think, have kind of fallen in love with Gritz in his rookie season. I think it's been quite a while since we've had a rookie that was just so likable for a variety of reasons. And he's got that dog in him, which we absolutely need more of. Obviously, love to see it from anybody, but when you see a guy like Gritz just chucking knuckles, it's a beautiful thing to see. Jay Snow says, usually PK Subban is super pro Devils, but even he was saying how this team doesn't play with speed and they're too small. Traveling says, I want a playoff berth. I mean, we all do traveling, but Robert says that is the first time they got 6. Okay, so he must have had a couple 5s or a few 5s. Devils Den, my man Austin. Jack Hughes hat-trick game against the Rags. Beautiful stuff. David Chimes, first time they scored 6, confirmed. Nice. Mr. White, bottom feeders going on runs as old as times. They're playing with zero pressure, and these wins are pointless. We're heading in no man's land, and that's the worst spot you could be as a team. Mr. White, just enjoy the win, my guy. Listen, I'm super down on this organization overall like you are, but let's just enjoy the win. We wouldn't do anything with the draft pick anyway, and you know that, so might as well just enjoy the wins. Honky Lips, Siegenthaler was solid. Gritsyuk looks like he is 12 years old, kicking the bully's ass in the schoolyard. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I really like, I talked about this already, but Cody Glass, I'm so happy that we weren't tempted to move him, and I do hope he's here long-term. He's definitely one of those guys that will never be like the star of the team or a main producer, but I totally can see him coming up big and making just absolutely beautiful, ballsy, like big playoff moments. I think that he has that written all over him, and he's a little bit of a dog and a little underrated. And I've said before, he's sneakily big. Like everything about Cody Glass, seems like a great dude. I actually met him once and talked to him for a couple minutes. Super nice kid. You could see the interviews with him and stuff as well. Christy Flannery did a great piece about him from Sweep the Deck. You should definitely check that out if you're not familiar with Christy Flannery, great writer for the Hockey News. Check out that article she did on Cody Glass. But yeah, I hope he's here long term and ends a Devil. I forget, someone said it in a comment or somewhere that I hope Cody Glass retires a Devil, and I'm totally on board. He's one of those guys where the type of guys you need to go deep in the playoffs, and he just seems like a great dude. Jay Snow, will Jack's game take another step next year? I think he could get to another level. Yeah, and it started off this year too. He looked great to start the season pre-Chicago cut. He was looking like a pretty dominant top-level player, and we saw that from him today with a 4-point night. Jack, when he's on, is lethal. 21-12 NYC. We could have used a consistent effort like this in the past 3 months. We completely agree. Completely agree. Mr. White says we're not leapfrogging 6 teams. Let us dream, Mr. White. I know it's not likely, but Sevi says 19 games left, needed record. We need 14, 15 wins. Travelin says Panthers were in a worse spot 3 seasons ago and made it to the finals. Were they this far back this late, though? John njdevils, Jack's numbers against the Rags are ridiculous. Yeah, they flashed him. I forget what they were. Mr. White, crazy how this place goes from jumping off the ledge yesterday to euphoria in 24 hours. The ownership is loving every single second of this. Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm just celebrating this win in the moment because it was beautiful, but it absolutely changes nothing for reality or for me. I'll be clear on that, Mr. White. Just so you know, some of these people, maybe. I'm just enjoying this game in a vacuum, but in the end, Fitzgerald is the worst general manager in all of pro sports, and the organization is in a disastrous way. But I'm going to enjoy this game, but has changed absolutely nothing for me in the bigger picture, obviously. Fitz has handcuffed this team and run it into the ground, and the future is not looking too much better as long as he's here. Just so you know, Mr. White. But I'm going to enjoy this. But, in the grand scheme of things, fairly meaningless, but I'm going to enjoy the fleeting moments. We got Fitz. Fitz is a terrorist. Jay Snow, you don't think having a top pick to trade would help this team? Snow, listen to me very carefully, Snow. Listen to me very carefully. They're not going to trade the pick, my guy. They're not going to trade it. And so, with you wanting to tank or whatever, all that's going to do, if they did do that, which it doesn't seem like they are, and I'm glad the boys aren't just going to start mailing it in, they are going to draft with that pick, my friend. They are obsessed with draft capital and looking at the board and who we're going to get. They should have traded a bunch of the picks we've drafted with over the years. I could talk about this forever, and they never do. And so you have to realize there's going to be no top pick traded. They're going to draft with it. And then furthermore, they're probably going to miss on the pick. And so I am sorry. I cannot get excited about a draft pick whatsoever. They need to start building towards the future and end the season on a high note, even if they obviously finish out of the playoffs and end up with a middling pick. I don't care, because I'd rather have a 14th pick and finish the season respectably than finish worse and get like a 6th pick or something, because they're going to draft with it anyway. And it's, even if they hit on the pick, that guy is not going to help this core. And so therefore, I do not give a shit. I do not give a shit. This team needs to be in win now. Put a contending roster around Jack Hughes now. Now, because guess what? He got a little taste of winning with that gold medal. And guess what? He's going to want to feel it in the NHL too. And he's not going to be happy sitting around with this idiot in the front office doing absolutely nothing to ever fix the team and just watching it all crumble. It's not going to happen. And so I hope ownership wakes up and becomes aware, because if you have an unhappy Jack Hughes, you're going to have problems. Number one priority should be making a push to win now and put the right pieces around Jack Hughes, because the last thing you want is an unhappy Jack Hughes. They obviously don't care about the fans, but they should care about the franchise player, the golden boy who's bringing in the cheddar, right? They care about money. Jack is a cash cow, and you want him to be happy. And how do you make him happy? Putting a winning team around him. And unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, that does not involve drafting with any of these picks. Period. Tell him, Traveling. Objective is to make the playoffs, not gather high picks. Corey, watched Fitz' press conference yesterday. Why wouldn't he stand in front of reporters and take questions? Pretty pathetic, as were his answers. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. It wasn't live. It was on slight delay. It was like a Zoom call. And then they posted it. I don't know. It's all cheesy, but this is how they do things. I mean, it is what it is. Doug says bunch of loser mentality people in here. Loser mentality has plagued the organization for years. And I think, not only the organization itself, but a lot of the fans, where people celebrate making the playoffs as if that's like something to celebrate. And I've told you guys, sorry, but no, you want to make the playoffs, but you don't celebrate that. That was our given right back in the day. And I hate to keep talking about back in the day, but a once proud franchise, we've fallen so far, and the loser mentality has plagued everyone. Mr. White, it's all about positioning ourselves in a better spot this summer. Winning games right now doesn't help achieve any of that. I'll never agree with it, Mr. White. Sorry, bud. I will never agree with that. You don't want these guys just getting more accustomed to losing. On top of all the losing they've done over the past few years, they need to win friggin' games. They need to win games. Jay Snow, putting Connor Brown back in the right slot and getting a legit top 6 winger is what they need to do. It would be nice. Gary B, Ace, go find the best Taylor ham, egg, and cheese on a bagel for us Jersey people. Happy we beat the Rangers, but we need a lot of help. We need some character players. Gritz stood up tall today. Yes, he did, and I think he's a big part of, drum roll, please, the bright future. Arseny Gritsyuk is here for it. And hopefully we pick up some win now pieces in the summer. Mechanicsville High Ace, great to see a change in the way the team is playing. Yeah, we are on a 4-game heater, folks. Michael, if we get a legit top 6 winger for Jack, this team is dangerous. I'm not going to get crazy. I mean, there's still work to do. And a little, a Ranger victory and a 4-game winning streak for me is not going to erase everything that has happened over the past couple seasons. This season was a calamity. Smacked in the first round last year. In the big old picture, this team has regressed somewhat significantly, I would say, since that record-setting 22-23 season. And that is largely in part, or mostly in part, to Tom Fitzgerald's complete ineptitude. Doug says we had won the lotto for Jack, Nico, and Nemitz, and what have we won? I mean, it is true. The logic there is going to be, stack another top player on there and it could do something, but it's all just crazy. Talking about tanking in hockey to me is completely ridiculous. And to Travelin's point, hey, Nico, please stick around so we can tank and get high draft picks. Exactly. Do you think Nico gives a shit if we get the top 5 draft pick and draft some highly touted kid? That is not helping him. He wants to win now. My man has been suffering in this league for a decade. He wants to win now. And guess what? Like I said in the summer, there is no guarantee that he is going to resign here. That could be a whole nother circus in the summer. So now, again, why I was pissed off about yesterday is because aside from it being a seller's market and teams paying pretty hefty prices for players, Fitz told the whole world in his press conference that we have 7 NHL everyday defensemen and he hopes to shake one loose this summer. It's like, well, why didn't you shake one loose yesterday when teams were paying through the nose for players? That would have been the time, because now just think about all this. This guy cannot multitask and can only focus on one deal at a time. And so now we head into the summer of 2026, the offseason of 2026. This man, at a minimum, at an absolute minimum, has to trade a defenseman. He needs to sign Arseny Gritsyuk. He needs to figure out what the hell he's doing with Nemitz, whether that's signing him or trading him, and hopefully get a top 6 winger, despite all the other things that he has to do in the bottom 6. But the most pressing are contracts for Gritz and Nemo, or trading him. And then obviously the Nico Hischier extension. Is he signing or not? So to me, that's a lot of kind of big projects on his plate for a guy that has shown struggling with just one of them. The Dawson Mercer thing was a headache. The Luke Hughes one was a headache. And now you're talking about Gritz and Nemo, and talking to Nico about possibly extending, and trying to get a top 6 winger for Jack. I mean, God bless if anybody has any faith in this man doing all of those things in a single summer, aside from all the other things we didn't get into. Mr. White, trade Bratt to whoever wants him and cement Gritsyuk in the top 6. Also give Meyer Gritz power play one time on the right boards where Bratt plays. The thing is, I'm not against that at all if it brings the right piece back, but I feel like, well, we know that Fitz is in love with this core and he's not going to do it, but I've always said if you are to break up the core, Bratt, to me, is the odd man out, and if you could get something nice for him, but I'm curious to know what the perceived value would be around the league coming off this down season. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not counting on that happening whatsoever. But I agree that Gritz and Timo should definitely get power play one time. Timo should be on power play 1 and on the right side eternally. Michael says, hit the likes. Appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. David says there's nothing not in the Gritsyuk toolbox. You know, he does it all. Could skate, could pass, could shoot, could hit a little bit, drop the mitts. Devils Den says, watching Gritsyuk throw hands like an absolute mad lad might be one of the best moments of the year. It was beautiful. Love to see it. The Canes says we have 7 divisional games left. Stick figs. Had trouble breaking past 3 wins. Now we've done twice in this dumpster season. What a wacky year. Yeah, 2 4-game winning streaks. Mr. Way, whoever's believing again needs to be put on pharmaceutical bipolar meds. Jason, the Blues finished 12-8 down the stretch. Let me try to catch up here. I fell behind. The man from Jers 201 says the season is lost anyway, so I'm definitely pro losing, but only to trade the pick. But I never want to lose to the Rags. Well, that's a whole lot of variables in your tanking scenario, but they're not going to trade the pick. They're going to draft with it. So Nicole says, it was me, my husband, my dad, and my 91-year-old grandmother. Awesome. All of our hats made it to the ice. We even got grandma's hat on the ice. Look at that. 4 for 4. That's amazing. Doug says, Fitz questioned Nemo's commitment to the team as if he didn't gain 15 pounds of muscle this offseason. Beast mode summer for Nemo, and hopefully some other guys follow suit this summer. Tropical Flamingo, that brutal road trip you referenced, Ace, I'll be at games in Nashville and against Daddy in Raleigh. How sweet would it be if Remain Hot heading into that trip and can cap the trip with a win in Raleigh? That'd be sick. Would be sick. Me and one of my buddies are potentially talking about going to the Nashville game. I've been trying to get back for years, and it may happen. It may happen. You guys are fighting in the chat. The chat is hilarious. You guys are nuts. All right. Vecna Fitzgerald says, Gritz, Chuck, and Nux remind me of Covey beating up that Caps goon. Who did he fight on the Caps? I remember when he knocked out Shen on the Flyers. He just floored him with a bomb of a shot. Luke says, where was this all year, but we could dream? I mean, yeah, the odds are super stacked against them, but I just want to see them finish on a high note. Continuing to lose and take on that loser mentality. It's plagued this team for years, and a lot of the fans too. Doug, I spent the last week torching the loser mentality people, and it's gotten nowhere. They're still set on the team losing. Some of those people, you're never going to convince them otherwise, and that's fine. I will never agree with it, and I think it's ridiculous, but they're entitled to their crazy kind of notions. Trolling in paradise, if the Devils do manage to end up in the playoffs, which will likely not happen this year, the Devils will unfortunately be forced to face the Hurricanes again and get trounced in the first round. Sadly, probably, but how crazy would it be for the team to be playing that hot into the playoffs? At that point, if they somehow again, they're not going to, but if they were playing at that high of a level to get into the playoffs, I would have to believe they would have a chance because they would be scorching hot. Devils Den. Austin says, you can believe this team's management is absolutely and completely dog shit and still get absolutely off your rocker excited after a Jack Hughes hat trick victory. Absolutely. Mr. White says, everyone loves this core, yet we're second to last in the East. You can't have your cake and eat it too. We need to shuffle things in a major way, and Brad is the first one I dangle for a culture shock. I can't say that I don't agree. I do love Bradder, but if we're being real, he's a very good player, but I do think you do need a foundational kind of shakeup. I've said it for a few months, and to me, he's unfortunately the odd man out when you go down the list. But if Nico is not going to sign this summer, it could be him. I think it'd be. Could they? The thing is, I have no faith in Fitz, right? But with a competent general manager, there could be a world where both of them were gone and like big pieces come in, but. With everything else already on deck, I can't see him doing it. And I honestly don't expect to see any big trades whatsoever. Snow said we built zero momentum even after making the playoffs. Connor, the game was great. I'm on the train back home, and let me say the seats were great. One of the best Devils games I've been to. Had great fans around me. What a win. Big dub. Big dub. Did you get a hat on the ice, Connor? Did you attempt to get a hat on the ice? The comments are bloody. You guys are just brawling. Mr. White, you just said it yourself, win now. If Jack wants to win now, they'll consider moving the 2026 first pick. So moving from 7th to 13th is shooting ourselves in the foot, Plaxico Burris style. So funny story on that. I actually saw Plaxico Burris at a TGI Fridays earlier in the night that he shot himself in New York City. It was the TGI Fridays in Clifton, I think it is, on Route 3. It was him and a bunch of the other Giants players. We saw them, and then I woke up to the news the next day that hours after I had saw him, he shot himself in the leg. But to your point, Mr. White, I'm sure Jack does want to win now, but that doesn't mean anything because we have Fitz here, and he's not going to trade the pick. He simply is not going to trade the pick. He is going to draft with it. And either way, I'm still not tanking for 6 better spots. I don't care. You'll get something for the 13th overall too. There's more value in the team coming together and not playing like shit. Ari says the future is bright. Glasses make me laugh every time. The future is bright. You got to protect your retinas. Devil Dog, been absolutely hating the negativity by everyone, but I agree. We need to keep winning for culture reasons and getting the team to believe in themselves. I am not a Fitz hater. Keefe, though, if you're not a Fitz hater, I don't know what do you need? What needs to happen for you to become one? Just a terrible job, sleeping at the wheel for years. And this is true, but Snow, you can fan however you want to. Brett says, I just joined, so forgive me. Would you still fire Keefe if they end hot? I am, it seems like I'm in the minority now, I think, that I don't think Keefe is the problem. And I never did. This group has struggled under several coaches. I can't blame Sheldon Keefe. The man made the playoffs everywhere he ever went. That does not happen by accident. And so for everyone to be like, Keefe sucks, it's a system. These guys couldn't score goals to save their lives, getting stoned on breakaways, missing nets, not getting to loose pucks that are just like sitting on the goal line. There were so many things that had happened that if Keefe and Fitz were fired simultaneously, I could live with that. But if Keefe is fired and Fitz stays on, I'll be livid because that's another scapegoat job. Anson says, Fitz is our issue. All of us here want to win. Doug says, I chose to cheer for wins, not cry over winning. Same. Jim says, I don't understand the tank mentality. You want the coaches to tell the team to go out there and lose? They're never going to do it. Guys are playing for contracts, bigger roles on the team or another team. It's a good thing that players are so driven by their own kind of success, as in addition to the teams, that it'll prevent stuff like this happening. Rendich says, what lotto teams have won the cup recently? And another fair point, which ones have? Mr. White, nobody wants to tank for picks, but when your season is officially over by January, winning does absolutely nothing. That's where I disagree. Winning as a group matters. To consistently keep losing and just have the negative vibes of a losing team in a shitty locker room is not good, man. It's not good, and you want them to come together as a team, get some wins, and feel good about it all, not to just die down the stretch and bleed out slow. Four Direction says, if I was Nico, I wouldn't resign. This front office is a joke. I do think it is going to be a contentious conversation with Nico. I hope he stays, but I wouldn't blame him at all if he doesn't. Adam G says, top 6 finishing winger and bottom 6 center have to be the two biggest needs this summer. Well, definitely the top 6 winger. If I was a betting man, I would say that Fitz is content with Cody Glass at 3C and Bukestad at 4C. But we will see how it all plays out. Michael, we have Glass at 3C and Bukestad at 4C. We still have Nason, so Cotter, Bukestad, Nason as a fourth line is solid. We'll be curious to see what Nason looks like when he comes back. I think that whole injury and the rehab and everything took a toll on him. He didn't quite look the same as he did last year. And, hopefully he could come back and provide something for this team. Everyone's still fighting in the comments. Silver Dove, I wonder if these end-of-season garbage time wins against gutted teams help him keep his job with clueless ownership who just look at the record. Someone brought that up before. I don't think so. I think regardless of how they finished down the stretch, that their mind was already made up that he was coming back next year. And so I don't necessarily believe that any sort of winning streak or wins down the stretch from here on out are going to have a big impact on Fitz either way. I think, when he didn't get fired after the 9-0 Islander beatdown, when he was still here for the trade deadline, it makes, and then coupled with what he had said in the post-game press conference that him and David Blitz are in lockstep and he expects to be back next year. I have no reason to believe that none of that is true. And that is what's going to happen. Traveling says, can't we all just get along? Devil Dog, Nemitz, Luke, Gritzy, Lenny will get better. This team is too reliant on Hughes, in my opinion, obviously. He's a gamer, but I don't know how he makes it through a full run to the cup when the game changes in the playoffs. Yeah, obviously it's the one thing that we're all hoping for and holding our breath for is when you're talking about any specific Devils season, you're talking about if Jack Hughes can stay healthy. That's the team goes as Jack goes, and when he goes down, it could be pretty ugly. And that is more to my point of why I think there needs to be a shakeup, because if and when Jack goes down, the other guys have to step up. There's plenty of other teams in this league that when a star or star players are out of their lineup, they don't just wilt and die and just play absolutely horribly. But for the Devils, when Jack goes down, it's like, pack it up. It's like, pack it up. They're not going to do anything without the guy. And anytime you're that reliant on one single guy in any sport, it's a recipe for disaster. M. Cansania, hey Ace, do you think it's just a matter of not placing expectations on this team? I noticed when the media has big expectations of this team, they falter. I mean, they're not teenagers, though. Like, that shouldn't matter. You're professional hockey players, and you've had a small taste of success a few seasons ago. Like, the expectations should not matter. Go out there and perform. Perform. Score goals and win games. It could be related, and if it is, I would say that's more of a kind of mental issue than anything else. If the media or people's expectations are impacting them negatively, that's a problem. That is a real problem. Michael says Nemo kind of has to resign. He has no arbitration rights. Yeah, but it could still get ugly, and he could ask for a trade. Maybe we see a sign and trade. Backs and Racks, Gritz has to be on Jack's line for both their benefits. I would like to see it. Long term, maybe. FDT LGD, what a show, what a show. Hughes, your daddy, what a day, what a W. Gritz got that dog in him, by the way, for sure. We talked about that before. Michael says, I do like Gritz with Jack and Brat with Glass and Lenny. Timo, my favorite fight was Ryan Carter rearranging Brendan Dubinsky's face. Are you talking about the line brawl? I thought he fought Stu Bickle. Maybe it was a different one you're talking about. Ted says, Ace, the Devils look very confident. The season isn't over. It's technically not over. It would require a miracle, but I'm still rooting for the wins. Doug says, got to re-sign Gritz so I can get a number 181 away jersey. That'd be a nice one. Doug says, Gritz is such a culture player. Beachmaster, Fitz hates Nemo. What's up with that Ace? Who knows? I have no idea. Maybe he doesn't hate him. Maybe it's all part of gamesmanship with the contract. But I don't get a great feeling about it, given everything we've seen. We'll see how it plays out. The Four Direction says, we essentially have to win every game at this point. Crazier things have happened, but highly unlikely. Well said. Mr. White, the main issue here is management not wanting to put this thing in fifth gear and doing what the Avs, Stars, Panthers, Bolts, etc. The issue here is the mindset of ownership, management, and our core. Well, I have my criticisms of the core, but to your point of the mindset of ownership and management, could not agree more. You got to put it in fifth gear and make a real push to win now. Even the Wild, look at what the hell Bill Guerin's doing. Took a big gamble, traded for Quinn, made a bunch of trades yesterday. That is what you do. Inactivity does not push you closer to a cup. You're not going to hit on every single trade, but at least you're in the game. You got to try something, and using first-round draft picks anytime soon would be a complete failure of epic proportions, in my opinion, because the time to win is now. As I've been saying for years, the time to win is now. You don't know what the future holds for Nico Hischier. How much longer is Timo Meier going to be, near his prime? Jack Hughes, years are going off. He's still very young, but, everyone talks about everybody like they're super young. Brad or Nico and Timo are going to be knocking on 30 before you know it. And everyone was just talking about for years, kicking the can down the road, we'll win in the future. The window hasn't opened yet, and it goes by like this. Ask Zach Parisian's Travis Zajac how quick their kind of contention window went by before their very eyes. And we're seeing it all over again. M. Canstaney says 22-23, low expectations, record-breaking season. 23-24, Stanley Cup final expectations, missed the playoffs. I think, though, I've talked about this before as well. I do think a lot of the success of that fluke 22-23 breakout season was the fact that we caught teams by surprise and they were not well-versed in how to defend and shut down the Devils. And since then, obviously, they've all done their homework, have done plenty of film sessions, and they have figured out how to neutralize the Devils' strengths, and the smart teams will do that. Ars Insane Us. The best thing that could happen is we keep winning, building confidence in the next season. That's where I'm at. People are going to disagree, but I completely agree. Doug says Nemo. Nemo, however, has been given a bigger role, but that doesn't change the fact we have 7 defensemen and all of them have big contracts. Someone got to go. Man, the chat is very active. Sherry says Keefe is not the problem. Crazy Alex says Keefe needs good stuff to work with, and that stems to Fitz. Yeah, I give this man a legitimate roster. Give him a legitimate roster. Mr. White says Jack runs the team. If he wants his team to finally make moves for win now pieces, ownership will force Fitz or whoever's in charge to make those moves. Well, if that was the case, you don't think that Jack would have done that? I'm confused. You don't think Jack wants to win now? I'd have to believe if this was the case, we would have seen moves. Selected Boy says, it's true Keefe is a damn good coach and is far from the problem with the team. The 4 directions Keefe and Fitz can both go in my mind. Okay. Doug, Keefe deserves a complete top 6. Completely agree. No more patchwork fixes for the top 6. Snow says they can't boot Keefe and keep Fitz. I could see that happening, and I will be furious. If Keefe is scapegoated for the whole thing and Fitz is allowed to stay on, it would be wild. Michael says, how many scoring chances missed the net today? It isn't Keefe. I've been saying this since the Keefe narrative has been spinning out of control. He can't shoot the pucks for these guys. They're getting scoring chances. They just haven't made the most of them all season long. Beachmaster says the ownership tries to tank anytime Jack goes down. Well, they were content with not doing anything last year. Tropical Flamingo, to me, Keefe is back. Keefe back next year is fine. He's been dealt a brutal set of circumstances and gets zero help from above. He can be better, so these guys, so can these guys, but he's not the issue here. It's clear Tom Fitzgerald. I agree. Give him a legitimate roster. Give this man a legitimate roster and get Jack the top 6 winger that he needs. Selected Boy says winning builds confidence. That's why they say winning cures. I'm with you. I am with you. Always believe, just popped in, why the negativity from the chat? We slapped those rags. It's just people fighting between, the people that want to tank and people that don't want to tank, essentially. Vecna says bring back the call-ins. Soon. Chase, no, Fitz did nothing last year. Really helped this team. Yeah, Glass and Sprong. Glass worked out for this year, but as deadline day additions, completely underwhelming. And says the Fitz interview was so hard to watch. It made my blood boil. Frank, a GM does not operate in a bubble. He acts based on the info given to him by his team. When a GM fails, it's a failure of the whole front office. When Fitz gets fired, the whole exec team has to go. I completely agree, minus the great Martin Brodeur. Jeremy Proper, the Devils are a side hustle for the Blitzer group, but plus they have the golden goal boy, Hughes cash cow. Yeah, it seems like, their metrics for winning is, as people have said for years now, is money. Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? Absolutely love the win despite Marky looking shaky and Luke actually playing well. My only worry is that as long as we keep winning, it will plant the false narrative in Fitz's head that the team is fine as is. Well, here's the thing, Bobby. Regardless of what happened down the stretch, you heard, or I believe you probably have heard by now, what Fitz said yesterday, and he believes the team is good regardless of how they finish. And so I do believe the core will remain intact for as long as Fitz is here, and it seems like at a minimum it's going to be next season for sure, based on everything we've seen, the fact that he's still here and that he said he's in lockstep with David Blitzer, and he told Novo in that little media thing yesterday that he expects to be back, so I fully believe he will. He's going to have to make some decisions on defense, and hopefully there is at least a bottom 6 tweak piece added, 1 or 2 bottom 6 pieces, hopefully the right ones this time. And we need that top 6 winger, but we'll see. I don't think he could, with a straight face, go out in front of any sort of media at this time and say that the answers are in the room like he's done every other year. And I don't think Jack Hughes will be happy with that either. Go get a bona fide sniper or something resembling a sniper to play with Jack and fill the hole that was left by Toffoli that was never replaced. We're long overdue for it. And it's time. There's no more pushing off winning. The time to win is now. Now. Okay. Daniel Sprong. Beachmaster more nothing. Jay Snow punted on the season. Robert, Jack's got 19 goals in 24 games against the Rags. Crazy. That is pure domination. Pure domination. Jeremy Proper, I think Fitz is going to get a haul by letting Nemo go over on an offer sheet. It's not really the haul that you may think it is. I think I pulled it up the other day based on the compensation chart for where here it is, where I think his contract would fall. It's likely going to fall in this third tier from the top, which is $7 million to $9.3 million. And the compensation is a first, a second, and a third. I mean, that's not, considering what prices were paid for players yesterday, a first, second, and a third is not a great deal for Shimo Nemitz. And so I do believe that's where it would fall. Now, if some team got super crazy and went to 9.5 or anything above 9.36, then you pick up the extra first rounder. So it's 2 first rounders, a second, and a third. But I do believe it would probably be somewhere in this third tier between 7 million and 9.36 million. And that gets you a first, second, and a third. So it's not even like if you lose them to an offer sheet, that's not some win. Apathetic 90s kid, forgetting to win the season is still a failure. No playoffs and Fitz won't be fired. Completely agree. 1,000% agree with you. Could not agree more. Anson Meadows says offer sheet for Nemo. That would be wild. It'd be rough, but there's still the option of matching the offer sheet, and then you could still trade him. There's a lot of options, but the Nemo situation in the summer is going to get crazy. Lil Drewski, have you got used to eating American food yet? Yeah, it was an adjustment. And also, I planned on trying to eat healthy as soon as I came home, but I continued to stuff my face like a slob for about a week. It was a tough adjustment to go from eating anything I wanted all the time to dialing it back in. I finally kind of locked it back in a few days ago and have started to eat healthy again, and it's depressing. It's super depressing, but I'm definitely getting used to it now. Traveling Devils says the 95 Devils weren't supposed to do good. This is true. Jay Snow, we need to move cap this summer. We don't have a lot of money. Yeah, it would have been nice to start that yesterday. Michaels is crying. She said this was the Mr. White show. I pulled up several comments from several people. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Deuces. Doug, 9-0 and nothing lost to the Isles. Should have been the dagger. That caused sweeping changes, but no. You would think most teams would have fired a lot of people the day after that. And once that did not happen, I was fairly certain that Fitz was safe for the rest of the year. And now with everything else that have come out, he'll be back next year too. Jeremy Proper says Colorado is going to win it all this year. That would be my pick. I'm sure they're probably the betting favorite. There's a bunch of teams that are capable of winning, but I think they're going to make a run. And they got Kadri. I mean, how could you not like them getting Kadri back? Jason, no, we only have 12 mil. Gritz is going to get paid. Yeah, I'd have to think he's going to get at least $6 million. George Shannon agree that Keefe should not be scapegoated, but when teams fall apart mid-season and miss the playoffs, coach owns part of that. The team has not been focused and lost confidence. Yeah. They look like they got it back now, but it seems like a case of too little, too late. Doug says, I would like to see the Sharks squeak in, as would I. Celebrini, super exciting, and our old pal Tyler Toffoli. Jason, I'd like to see the Sabres make a run, so would I. I love Tage. Celebrini is generational. Yeah, the Sharks would be fun. Tom says, 20-year anniversary of the 06 Devils win streak. Let's do it again. Miracles happen. Lil Drewski, I put a parlay in a while ago. The Devils to win the Cup, $3. If I can get it, they want $8.60. That would be sweet. G. Orlando, Devils need the channel 2006. 11 straight wins to close the season. Then, of course, swept the Rangers to win 15 in a row. Yeah, the 2006 season, magical one. They finished the season on the road in Montreal and beat them to win the division. Drama. Bobby, thank you for the super. I agree with you. We need a sniper, but you also want Brady. We can't get Brady and a sniper. Brady is no sniper, respectfully. Well, he'll fit what I'm looking for. He'll fit just fine as Jack Swinger. I'll take it. If Brady's on the table, move everything you can to get him, and obviously keep Jack. M. Cansania Ace, do you think all the no moves, no trade clauses bit fits in the ass this trade deadline? I hear Kovacevic refused to waive his no move. Well, yeah, he told a reporter that he wanted to stay in New Jersey and he wasn't going to waive it. It obviously hindered him a little bit, but in the end, there were moves he could have made that he did not. Like, teams called on Dougie. He didn't try to do anything with that. Obviously, a bunch called on Nemo, and so it just seemed like he was, hands in the pockets. I really don't have an answer for what it is exactly, but it definitely doesn't help. But he's in love with the team. Jason, we have too much money tied up on our back end. Like, obviously, Dougie and Nemo could both not be back. They both can't be back next year. So one or the other has to go, which why I really did believe one was going to get moved yesterday. Arnott says Keefe can't shoot for them, but what is he addressing in practice to rectify this? Come on, man. What do you think? They don't shoot pucks in practice? You can't mimic or the scenarios that they're getting. Like, I don't know. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to practice breakaways every day? I mean, I'm sure they do. I do believe they've talked about like shootouts and stuff that they've done in practice, but what exactly do you want them to do? These guys have played hockey for their entire lives. James says, if you want Peronis for victory drinks, try Italy in Short Hills. I went there with my mother a few months back. Regurgitator, what an exciting game. Doug, considering the glaring roster issues, you can only do so much systematically. Yeah, the guy hasn't had a legitimate roster, in my opinion, since he's been here. The top six was never a true top six, and he's had a lot of AHL-type players in the bottom six for stretches of season. Tropical Flamingo, I know cuisine in Italy is superb overall, but Ace, have you made it to Angelica's and Seabright? Excellent, get there. I've heard. I've been meaning to go there for a while. I walked past it one night. It was packed. In the summer, I was down there a couple times, and I've been told by several people that it's good. So I will put that on my list to visit as we come into the spring. I don't like going anywhere in the shitty winter, but man, the clocks go ahead. Is it tonight? I think it's tonight, right? An hour more of sunlight. Let's go. Let's go. Selected boy, I may catch hell for this, but I'm glad Fitz didn't make a move at the trade deadline, and I say this as someone who wants Fitz fired. I wasn't expecting monster moves, and I didn't want monster moves, but in a seller's market, get rid of an extra piece while you can, because he has so many projects already lined up for the summer. Again, a Nemo contract or trade, a Gritz contract, trying to get the top six winger. What's going on with Nico? There's too many things. This man's head is going to explode. Doug says, I could see Nemitz getting dealt over the summer. It's going to suck. I could totally see that as well. Traveling Devil, Markstrom was scary in the Olympics. Yeah, we thought Marky was going to end our Olympic run for Team USA. Played a great game against the Americans, and they gave us the scare of a lifetime and tied it up with like 2 minutes left. I thought Marky was going to bounce Team USA. Jay Snow, Gritz is sneaky with the sandpaper for sure. I want to see what Salayev brings. Hopefully he brings the nastiness too. We definitely need as much dog mentality injected into the DNA of this team as possible, and love to see it from a guy like Gritz. Selected boy says, just take a walk, Ace. You'll burn the pounds off. Oh, it's not that easy. Sherry, who won the weight gain contest? I'm going to do that video this week. I've been super busy with a bunch of stuff. There's going to be two winners, closest for steps and weight gain, and that will be in a video this week. I'll be doing the post recap of all this. Jason, no, I have no idea. I'd like to see Nose moved. I don't know who that. I'd like to see someone moved and be curious if the Devils wanted in on him. I guess that was probably Nyes. Hopefully, honestly, I hope Toronto loses everyone. They deserve to suffer the way they've treated guys. I would have been excited for Nyes. But it did not happen. Colorado got back to landlord of the St. Louis Blues. And the Avs got two former Devils goalies. Yes, they do. Mr. White, people crying over Ace reading my post. Don't ever change. NJD fans softer than just random plans. Man. Brett says, I'd trade Brat, Nemo, and 2 firsts for Brady. There's so many people that would tell you that's insanely crazy, but I don't know that it is. We got more fighting in the comments. Traveling says, you're soft with a loser mentality. M. Cansania Ace, Fitz got calls. I read on X that Fitz literally thought his phone was broke because he didn't get any calls. No, I'm pretty sure he said that. I'm pretty sure in the thing he said people contacted him about Dougie, but he didn't have his name out there. Tom Ace, I believe they tried that in the Mighty Ducks 3, practicing without pucks. Nicole Cove told us at the signing that his fiance is due the same time we are. He's having a kid. He probably doesn't want to move during this time. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with guys just getting settled down and they're like, I like my life the way it is. I don't want this big disruption. I mean, anybody here, just think about if you were told your job was moving or you had to move to another state on a short notice. Obviously, when these things happen, it's like you're traded and they're typically on a plane within a few hours to go with a basic suitcase they pack real quick to go to their new NHL city or meet the team on the road. Most people would not be thrilled with that if they're happy where they are. And a lot of these guys like the area, and it all makes sense. Connor says Haminaho and a first and a couple other picks for Byfield or Kyrou, maybe someone else. Like I said yesterday, I don't think there's many big acquisition bullets in the chamber for this team. And so I just hope that when they make the move, it's the right piece. I do like Kyrou, but I don't think he's the guy. If somehow they freed up cap space and didn't have to use a ton of assets and can still make another move, I think that would be good. But if that's going to be like the move, it would be underwhelming to me, if I'm being honest. Definitely underwhelming. Tropical, I do think we see Jake Allen tomorrow versus Detroit. I just can't see them putting Markey in again after a huge win versus the Rags and playing a lot of games this week, already a back-to-back. Now, that would be psychotic, I think, to play him back-to-back. Listen, in reality, I don't think it's psychotic, but in terms of their mindset, it probably took a whole lot for them to get Markey to play the back-to-back that he did a couple days ago. I don't see them doing it again, but we'll see. Austin says I would play Markey tomorrow. He is hot. I can't see them doing it, but I wouldn't be against it. Jeff says 14-5 ace. The rest of the way gets us 94 points. Got to stay positive. I don't know that would be enough to get in, but I would like to see them make a push. Michael says microplastics is an essential part of the food pyramid. George, what about Bukestad? Is he a keeper? I would say that he could be. I'm not like totally sold on him the way I am about Glass. Let's see what he looks like down the stretch of the season if he develops chemistry with anyone and kind of treat it as an audition. But so far, I think with the right line mates, he could be a decent 4C. I'm totally sold on Cody Glass at 3C if we cannot upgrade 3C and push him to 4. In an ideal world, if we could get a 3C from somewhere outside, which why I loved Kadri. I really would have loved Kadri. A lot of people are, oh, he's old and dying in his contract. Like, I would have taken a chance. He could bring some production. A center, obviously, brings the snarl, the nastiness. I think he would have been a good fit for this team. If we cannot get a legitimate 3C to push Cody Glass to 4C, with Cody Glass at 3C, which he's done an admirable job, but if we're just being honest, a cup contending team, if you had the depth to have Cody at 4C and someone else at 3C, then you really like your center group. But if Cody Glass, if that, upgrade to 3C doesn't happen and Cody Glass is at 3C, Bukestad could be a serviceable 4C. Let's see how he finishes down the stretch here. But I think there's a very good chance we see that for next year. Matty Ice, knowing all those Ranger fans buying tickets to our building to watch them lose, no better feeling. And there's probably a good amount of them in there today, I'm sure. Snow says you feel so much better eating clean. Yeah, you do. But I still love junk. Doug, I'm getting to the age where eating pizza hurts. Jay Snow, we've all eaten like complete shit. Connor, what player do you want to see us pick up in the summer to fill in our top 6 needs? And who would you trade to get him if they are still under contract? I mean, I'm going to give the same answer. It's the pipe dream, but I send whatever it takes to get Brady Tkachuk. That's my number one. I'd be curious to see, does Jason Robertson hit free agency? I mean, he's a guy I'd be interested in. He's probably going to get paid crazy money. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Nye's at the right price I'd be interested in, but Brady would be my number one. And then Nye's, and then again, Kyrou maybe, but I don't think you're getting Kyrou and another big piece. So like I said, as the main attraction addition, I would not want it to be Kyrou. Michael, whether they should be eaten if they taste good or completely different conversations. Fried Oreos are amazing, but haven't had one in like 15 years, man. Fried Oreos are delicious. That's one of my boardwalk go-tos, along with like the funnel cakes and stuff. GSA, let's not kid ourselves. Even if they get in and play at their hottest, they're not going anywhere. Well, listen, I will take a playoff berth over a not playoff berth 100 times out of 100. Jay Snow, don't get me started with fried Oreos. I'll go hard on the board. I love the boardwalk fried Oreos. Oh, man. Doug, anything can happen in Jersey except Fitz making a trade. Fried Oreos are God tier. Jay Snow, I can see Dougie coming back next year. I think at this point, it's the likely scenario. I think something weird's going on with Nemo, and he's probably going to be traded, and Dougie's going to be here. But there's under no logical circumstance can both Dougie and Nemo come back, obviously. It would just be insane. M can't stand it. I got to give credit where it's due. And in hindsight, I do applaud Fitz for getting Glass and Brown. I think Bukestad is some of the grit we need. Yeah, great. But with all the other stuff that he did or did not do, he's still a complete failure. But yeah, in a vacuum, those are nice additions, but he's made plenty of bad ones and plenty of non-moves that totally negate any goodwill from those moves because we're burning years off of the core. Robbie's bench sauce says tastes like chocolate funnel cake. Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, fried anything is good, Doug. Ted, even Rangers fans threw their hats on the ice to celebrate Jack Hughes. Snow, I don't know how they're going to clear enough cap for a legit top six guy. Well, either Dougie or Nemo probably won't be here, so that's some money right there. And then there's a bunch of other defensemen, I think, that are potentials. And I'm not anticipating it, but maybe this summer someone pries Mercer away from the Devils. Jeremy Popper says on the power play, I want to see Dougie at right wing. Anson, the wingman pod would be even better if Brady was in New Jersey. But obviously, life would be better if Brady was in New Jersey. Michael, we used to make fried Oreos in the snack bar after Saturday night skates where we play from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. The good old days. Yeah. Oh, he's an RFA? Why did I think he was a UFA? I thought he was a UFA. Oh, that's going to be a really interesting scenario in Dallas. Doug says I'd pester Nashville for Forsberg. Mr. White says screw Kyrou, more of the same. Jay Snow, I would move a core piece to shake it up. I've been there for a while now. You know I've been there for that. Mr. White, Elliot Friedman saying Nemitz plus for Nyes is something he'd see, but having someone with a no-move clause can screw up this deal. Yeah, I would have done that yesterday if it was possible. I don't know what the delay is, but Matthew, have you ever fried pizza? You can take a frozen piece of pizza, coat it in flour, then fry it. Goes great with a big glass of chocolate milk. Oh, my God, from the Department of Unhealthy Stuff. I have not tried it, but it sounds delicious. Like someone said earlier, fried anything is delicious. Stephen C. Blah. Since we're playing Patty Kane tomorrow, I recently found out he named his daughter Trick. What a complete weirdo. Is that true? That can't be true. George says, Glass has been good. Love him at 4C. I mean, yeah, you're talking about if you could push Glass to 4C and get a legit 3C, you could potentially have the best center crop in the league, or at least in the top few. Select the Boy says fried Oreos are the best things on the planet. Even aliens would want it. Give me Nyes, some American muscle. I like Nyes. Jason says take Nemo. You could have him. Doug, rising cap era in play 2. We need to shift from one of our D-men. Yeah, that's why it should have done yesterday. Mr. White, let's get away from so many Euros and bring in some North Americans, especially Canadians. I'd take Canadians and Americans. I talked about this yesterday. North Americans are just built a little bit different, in my opinion, and there's no surprise that they've been in the final game, the championship game of the past 2 international best-on-best tournaments. The gold medal game just now in Milano that myself and Travel were there to witness. American swagger. Oh, baby, we got that American swagger. Get your hoodies and T-shirts on the website now. Link pinned in the chat and in the description of the video, and in the 4 nations. So U.S., Canada are the 2 best hockey nations at the moment, and we should bring in some North American muscle to this team. Lil Drewski, would you like to get Austin Matthews? Yeah, I'd rather have Brady Kachuk, but let's be real. If Austin Matthews is available, who wouldn't love him? There's some people that talk smack on him, but I would love Austin Matthews. American swagger, Doug. Robbie says Robertson is too small for us, but a great player. I'm pretty sure he's bigger than people think. He's not like the thickest guy, but he's not like small. He's 6'3", 204. That works for me. How much money are you willing to pay Tuck to get him to play here? I would want to see what other guys are out there and what they're going to get paid, but I'm thinking Tuck's going to be at least a $10 million guy, I think. Let me see what they have his projection at. I think he's going to stay in Buffalo, though. I think that's pretty much what everyone's saying. Love Tuck. Colorado is a wagon. Ted, we talked about that earlier. Sick. It wasn't a full-blown fight, Traveling. It was like he kind of jumped the guy and beat him down. It was nice, though. It was a good beatdown, yeah. He didn't fight back. Double minor for roughing. Traveling, good. I couldn't watch since I didn't have the streaming service that carries ABC. Isn't it so annoying how these things work? I've talked about this before. I'm not trying to be a complainer, but like for a sport that desperately wants to grow the game, they make it impossible. Like you need 7 million different apps and this and that. Like it's super annoying. It really is super annoying. Just put it all on one thing. Make it easy for people. Or at least, I think, Traveling, you said a couple years ago, it was all like centralized through an NHL app or something. Selected Boy says Robertson is taller than Hughes and Heischer. Yeah, stream on a site. Tropical, a player I do like a lot is Nick Schmaltz. Not a bad ad from us for Utah if we could get him. Robo's a good size. Traveling. Was listening to Chico for a while and fell asleep after eating that Cubano to the end. Man. What a game. But lots of question marks for the summer. I don't know. It just seems like, for me, there is way too many projects that are sizable ones that Fitz is going to have to get done. It's a lot of projects to get done. Multiple contracts, trades, free agency. Anson Meadows, I have Gotham, ESPN, and more. Still couldn't watch ESPN on ABC. Doug, notice how the tankers left because no one entertained their nonsense. There's still tankers in here. But listen, I'm not going to kill them for it. Like, if that's how you want to, compartmentalize things, then fine. But I just will never agree with it. Select the boy for real, having to get different streams to watch favorite teams. Yeah, they need to figure it out because that's not how you grow the game. Making it super difficult to find them. I hate it. I hate all of it. Tragic Slug, PWHL games are all free to watch on YouTube. Kind of sick, not going to lie. Of course it's sick. Make it easy. It's free and you know where to find it. Even if you charged for it and you made like a, what does NFL call it? Like the NFL ticket or whatever? Make an NHL ticket that you pay whatever it is for the season and you get all the games in one centralized location. Yeah, the streaming nonsense. Traveling, one of the only benefits of living in South Florida. Sorry, it's a major pain in the ass to figure out what channel these games on. I agree. Richie, Timo showed a lot of restraint today and easily could have snapped, but kept his cool and drew penalties. He was disruptive. He always is. He's a wrecking ball. He's a wrecking ball. All right, I got to use the bathroom real quick. Quick bathroom break, but guys, you're running out of time. American swagger, hoodies and tees, multiple colors, champion garments. These aren't crappy, like a lot of these things people online are, thin paper, thin hoodies and t-shirts. These are champion garments. Multiple colors. Get it at the website. Link pinned in the chat and in the description. I'll be right back, and then we'll start winding this down and see what else you got. But I got some things in the works. I'm working on a lot of things, but throw it all out there in the comments right now. Thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you got, throw it out there. I'll be back in a minute. Bobby, thank you for the super, sir. I agree. Brady would be great, but you know who I'd give my first destiny for? Boldy. Boldy and Jackson had insane chemistry at the Olympics. Who was the third? Well, he actually started off with Brock Nelson and Miller on the fourth line, and then he eventually played with Larkin from the Red Wings and Tage Thompson. He may have had some shifts with Boldy. I can't even remember, but I've always liked Boldy too. American badass. Billy G's not getting rid of him anytime soon. Billy G's looking to go for it. He is looking to go for it. I love Bill Guerin. How could you not? How can you not? Billy G is just such a warrior. 95 Cup champ with our beloved New Jersey Devils. Whoa, I'm hitting things over here. Tyler says, great win. Love the Jack Hughes hitting the jersey logo after the goal. It was beautiful. I'm liking what I've seen after this break. Yeah, I think we all are. Doug says, apparently YouTube TV is where it's at. I had that once upon a time. Honestly, everything is just such a pain in the ass. I went back to, believe it or not, I just went back to traditional cable. Part of it, and I will be honest, part of it was a lot of times I'd be in the chat and I'd be watching it like on Gotham through the streaming app, and it's like a 30-second delay. I can't do it. The quickest, most live Devils feed is on Verizon Fios with MSG, and so that played a part in the decision. And then I was tired of like toggling through shit. I honestly hate streaming. Maybe it's just the old man in me, and I know it's the future and whatever else, but it's just easier for me to use the regular cable. I have the streaming apps too, a lot of them anyway. I mean, there's like, what is there, like dozens of them now? It's super annoying. What's on Hulu? What's on Paramount? Disney Plus? This app, that app. It's like I have like a spreadsheet that I need to update with all the friggin' logins I have and what shows are on it. There's just so much shit out there. I appreciate you all coming out. I know you have a lot of options for your viewing pleasure, whether that's a show or whatever it is that you people like to watch. There's no shortage of things to watch these days on all of these different platforms. Everything's expensive. It's crazy. Tropical Flamingo, another guy I love. One of my favorites in the league is Pavel Dorofeyev from Vegas, and he's so young too. He would score goals for us for sure, but we can't have anything nice on this team with Fitz. Traveling, I hate having to drive to Sawgrass to see a Panthers game. Mr. White visiting family and escaping Montreal winter. Oh, very nice. The winter in Canada is pretty brutal. I kind of want to go to Florida myself. Jay Snow, Larkin and Jack played a lot together. Yeah, when they saw the beast was unleashed. Jack the Beast came to life in the Olympics, and they're like, let's get this kid off the fourth line. And him, Larkin, and Tage were beautiful. George, MSG should at least have local rights for home games. Snow, Larkin's an underrated player. I would love Larkin. I can't see us getting him, but I would love it. Mr. White got smashed at the elbow room yesterday. What a dump. That's where the USA did the USA go there? I know they started at 11, but I know Panthers elbow room's their spot. I've never been to the elbow room. I feel left out. Bobby says, any shot we can land Larkin or Tage. I can't see it. Traveling says, enjoy your time and go to a Cuban restaurant, preferably a mom and pop one. Now you're making me hungry. I'm trying to dial it in, and you're talking about Cuban sandwiches, and I love a good Cuban. Traveling says, I need to get to Montreal for a game, as do I. It's been on my list for a while. I feel like the past several years, they've always been like in the dead of winter in the middle of the week. A horrible combination. I would love a either early season before it's brick cold or like a nice maybe early April game in Montreal would be much more desirable than like a Tuesday in January. Devils Holic, what's up? 4 in a row is right. Second 4-game winning streak of the season, and it's only the second one in like the past 3 years. Doug says, anyone go to the Four Nations game in Montreal? I wish. I thought about it when it first got announced, but then I just decided to go to the games, some of the games in Boston. So I was fortunate enough to go to, I think, was it Canada, Finland? I think Canada, Finland. It was a doubleheader. It was Canada, Finland, and USA, Sweden, which it sucks because the way it broke down, the game was meaningless for USA, which kind of sucked. It was still cool to see it, but I went to the doubleheader. It was Canada, Finland. Or maybe it wasn't a doubleheader. My brain's fuzzy. It may have been either 2 days in a row or the same day. I can't remember. But Canada, Finland, and USA, Sweden went to those, and then went to the final game against Canada. Shout out to my buddy Brian and Anthony. Epic road trip of a lifetime for the final game. It's a shame USA did not win, but I am so happy and fortunate that I was able to see USA get retribution on the grandest of stages in the Olympics in Milano with my man Traveling Devil. Team USA 6-0, baby. Let's go. American swagger. What a team. I'm never going to come down from the high of the USA gold medal. I never will. Never will. Sherry says, Tom and I are on Fios. We pay extra for NHL and Hulu Plus, ESPN during hockey season. Pain in the ass. Yeah. Mr. White, good luck finding tickets to a Habs game now that they're good. If you want someone to show you around post-game town, post-game, I'm your guy. I hope next year we get a better date in Montreal. It's been on my list forever. I've seen them play in Toronto. I've seen them play in a bunch of other cities. But I do like Montreal. Travel in January was when I was in Toronto. Mr. White told Ace to come to Montreal. Don't know if he'll make it back in one piece. Mr. White, I went to the game where they brawled 3 times in 10 seconds. The vibes were absolutely insane. Oh, man, so you were at the crazy USA, the USA-Canada game where the Kachuk brothers threw down. Who was the third guy that fought? I can't remember. It was the Kachucks and was it Miller? Doug, TD Garden is historic. How nice was it there? I love TD Garden. One of my favorite road trips is Boston. Love the arena, and you could just do so much great walking and obviously eating. In Boston. Boston is always great. If you haven't been there, I couldn't recommend it enough. And it's an easy road trip. It's drivable. You could go there and stay one night if you want to. You could make it as long or as short of a trip as you want. Always a good time. The North End has great food, great pizza, pastries, just tons of great places. Then if you're into seafood, they have the whole wharf area. We witnessed history. Oh, did we witness history? Jeremy Proper says, I married a hood Cuban and she brought me to SoFlo, Miami. It's Versailles or Rio Crystal now. Ropa Vieja. Oh, my God, dude. You guys are talking about all this food. You're going to make me go bad. I've been doing good for a few days now. It took me a while. I ate bad for a week coming back. I couldn't deal with the post-Olympic high depression of being in America and then also eating healthy on top of it. So I gave myself like a week adjustment period where I stuffed my face locally for a week after the bender that was Milano. And talking about Ropa Vieja, at an old job I had years ago, there was a local spot that had the sickest Ropa Vieja, and it was so nice and tender with all the great sauce. And I would go there for lunch probably at least once a week, and they'd give you a plate like this big, and it was a shitload of Ropa Vieja on top of a ton, like a massive mound of rice and beans. It must have been like a 3,500 calorie lunch, and I would truck it, man. And it was like $10. Heavy ass plate, tons of meat, mounds of rice and beans. Michael says, I was in Montreal during playoffs when they had Kovalev. When he lost his bucket and was playing with the flow all out, dude, the city was crazy during that. What year was that? You're going back. Oh, good. I think even a hood Cuban. I'm like, all right, I'm down with the hood Cubans. Good Cuban. Stephen C. Ace, you find the World Baseball Classic going on now. It's fun. Team USA is stacked. I'm sorry, you're talking about baseball? I just can't do baseball. I just can't. When I was younger, I would watch it a little bit, and in the playoffs, like, you know, when the Yankees are playing the Mariners or Ken Griffey Jr. and stuff, like, it's just too slow for me. It was always my least favorite sport by far. Yeah, it was Miller. Okay. Yeah, Miller. Yeah, Pareko's a big boy. Jason Nelson, I want to see USA win the WBC too. Obviously, America got to win. Obviously, I'm going to root for them, but you know, I'm not going to shed a tear if they don't. Yeah, Doug, Boston, couldn't recommend it more. Great place to go see a game, and there's tons of stuff. You know, if you're into like the whole historic stuff, there's tons of history related things to go see. Top 3 foods. Did you ask me this last time? I mean, if you're just talking about like, I don't know, are you talking about like specific items? I need qualifying questions answered here. Are you talking about like specific dishes or like types of cuisines? Traveling says Boston is awesome. Was there for the Winter Classic, Pens versus Bruins. Doug, I would highly recommend Sedona out in Arizona. Absolutely beautiful out there. I went to visit a friend in Arizona years and years ago. Shit, I'm old, man. I was a kid. It was probably about 20 years ago. I think it was like the Scottsdale. It was in Phoenix, Scottsdale area. I was bouncing around between there. I always wanted to go see the Devils play the Coyotes, but obviously that has been replaced with Utah now, which I eventually would like to go see the Devils in Utah as well. George, Fitz needs to look at the Avalanche drive to win the Stanley Cup. Avs are already odds-on Stanley Cup favorite and still very busy making the team better, and that's what winning teams do. That is what winning teams do. Ethan, you think the NHL will do another Devils versus Rangers stadium game or something? At some point, they will. At some point, I think they will. Jack Hughes is just such a mega star now. Hopefully that helps push us to the front of the line. There obviously are certain markets that are more likely to get these types of specialty games, and traditionally the Devils haven't been an attractive one for the league to pick. Obviously, we got the one in 2014 where we still had some decent star power. I mean, that team had the great Martin Brodeur, a veteran Jaromir Jagr. We still had Patty Elias. That was still on paper. He had some names. And then obviously was that the 23-24 season? Yeah. The 23-24 season was the Stadium Series where we played the Flyers. I'd imagine we'll be back in one in the not too distant future. Would love to see one against the Islanders, and I wouldn't care really where it is. Obviously, my preference would be to have it at MetLife Stadium again, but I would be fine with a Devils Islanders one in New York, whether it was at, I guess it would probably be Citi Field. I mean, I think Devils Islanders at Citi Field would be a pretty big deal too. Selected Boy says baseball cures Ace's insomnia. Specific dishes. Ooh, top 3 foods, specific dishes. That's a hard one. I mean, penny vodka is definitely high on my list for sure. A beautiful filet mignon with a baked potato or mashed potatoes would be high on my list. See, penny vodka, filet. I love a good chicken parm. And in recent years, it's become fashionable for these places to do they call the drunken chicken parm with vodka sauce. Those would be 3 that are pretty high on my list. I like certain veal dishes. Veal saltimbocca would be high on my list. Anson, 2 to 6% chance of the Devils making the playoffs according to all the betting sites. Yeah, it's not looking great, but listen, just keep winning and hope some teams lose. Doug says Utah is stunning too. Select the boy, not just the Avalanche. Look at the Hurricanes. They have a winning formula. Hot Rod's getting it done in Carolina and has been for a long time. They've stayed competitive for quite some time. Shout out to my friend. Whoa. Mr. Wayne spent a weekend in jail in Boston. Great town. Wow. West Coast has a lot to offer. Doug says Colorado's on my list. I saw Devils play the Avalanche, again, probably 20 years ago in Colorado. Colorado is beautiful. I had a friend out there and went on some like cool hikes in the mountains and shit. And Colorado is a beautiful state too. I would eventually like to make it back to a game there. Who did we play? So this year, the road trip where we played the Avs, it was Avs, Sharks, Kings, Ducks. Okay. That the West Coast trip would be sick. Another West Coast trip. I did one years ago. Would like to do one again. It was fun, and it was a bad Devils team too. Tropical Flamingo, the turnaround by Buffalo is remarkable. How great they're playing lead tonight yet again versus the Music City Kitties. Lindy doing a great job there. They turned their shit around, man. A few months ago, we were all talking about we should try to get Tage Thompson, and the Devils fell off a cliff, and they've been surging. Selected boy Corey Perry just got himself a goal for the Lightning. Look at that. Tragic Slug, how soon until we see Yegorov play in the NHL? I would say in 3 years. So not next year, not the one after, the season after that. That would be my prediction. So that's the 28-29 season. Next season, 26-27. The season after that's 27-28. So 28-29 would be my prediction for Mr. Mike Yegorov. Sherry says Amanda Stein has the greatest job on the planet. I'd say it's up there. Mr. White, Perry scored for TB. All the 30-plus haters in shambles right now. It is shocking how many people believe that guys over 30 are just like dead and gone. Sabres are getting really good goaltending, better than NJ. Tropical Flamingo, Utah's great. Tons of Devils fans show out. Same in Minnesota, 2 of the great road spots to see games. Tropical Flamingo, when the season ends, how many road games would you have went to? You might be the road warrior champion around here. Execution, told myself I wasn't going to attend any games this season, but here I am, and what a game I went to. Brother came with, Rags fan. Oh, man, that's got to be a fun rivalry with your brother, and you saw an excellent, entertaining game. You saw a very, very good game, and I'm sure your brother was upset with the result, but, man. Zach, how about Gritz dropping the mitts to back up Brown? Love to see it. Oh, we talked about that earlier. You must have got here late, my friend. Gritz just throwing overhands. Love to see it. Took the penalty. The boys killed it off for him, and it was a great outing. Love to see the snarl from Gritz. Hopefully there's no complications with his contract signing this summer. Anson, Eric Stahl, and Jussi Jokinen robbed our playoff hopes back in 2009. Rough Game 7 loss, winning in the last minutes too. I was there for that, and it's one of the most devastating games I've been to live. Absolutely devastation. I remember just sitting in my seat, and I don't know, I was probably there for 15, 20 minutes after the game ended. I think the arena workers came to like kick me out because everyone just started running out, and I just sat there in shock and disbelief, watched the handshake line, and just sat there and waited till everyone cleared out. And that team, I really thought had a chance to make some noise. And had they got out of that game and won the round, I think they could have went on a run, but that was one of the great meltdowns in New Jersey Devils history. Selected Boy says, I'd love Amanda Stein to be my wife. Okay. Why don't you propose then? Mr. White, Ace, organize a crew for a game in New Jersey. Ain't no way I'm going to these brat pack events. I mean, it's a shame that we're so bad this year because I would have liked to do it, but I don't know how much enthusiasm there's going to be in a season in a season that's over. I foolishly, or whatever you want to call it, thought that we'd definitely be a playoff team, and I was going to try to pull something off like this in March or April. But the fact that it is where we are now, like, I don't know how many people would even be interested. And honestly, across the board, you could tell the interest has already died off. A lot of people just kind of checked out on the Devils already because of where they're at. Even you could just see even in attendance and lives and views on videos and even views on the Devils videos they put up. People are just kind of checked out. I mean, the hardcores like us will always be there, but by and large, I think a lot of people have just lost interest. Zach has just got home from the Rock. Great game. You saw a good one. The Jack trick. Zach, did you get a hat on the ice, Zach? Did you get a hat on the ice? Michael, they call sprinkles Jimmy's in Boston. That blew my mind when I was like 10 and learned that. SJ, Sabres made good trades getting Mikey's bro and Shane Doan's son. Those two have made the Sabres so much better on offense. Yeah, Josh Doan and what's McLeod's brother's name? I forget. Rags fans definitely hate Jack. Mr. White, next year when we're world beaters in game 5 of 82. Selected Boy, Toronto is just dead like we are. They absolutely sure Keefe was the problem in Maple Leaf land. I don't think he was. I think that core was rotten. Marner couldn't wait to get the hell out of here, and they're still having problems with that. Ryan, okay, thank you. My mind was blank. They definitely loved him for the Olympics. And speaking of which, I'm going to need everyone to do me a favor. Speaking of Rangers fans and Jack, I need you all to go watch this vlog. Some of you may have already seen it, but just watch it again or just let it play. I'm about to end this live in a second. I was talking USA Hockey and talking some shit with a Ranger fan in front of the Duomo in Milano. I just dropped a link in the chat. That vlog just went live now, and I'm going to finish up the rest of these. I got behind in the vlogs, and I've been doing a ton of shit since I came back from Italy. But Tropical Flamingo would be Seattle, Vancouver, Minnesota, Utah, Nashville. My God, 6. Good for you. The Road Warrior. The Road Warrior. Travelin says the Devils keep winning. I'll be up for the Habs game. When is that? Oh, that's on a Sunday. Sunday, April 5th. Oh, baby. Sunday, April 5th. Oh, I missed this. Sorry, wasted. I just saw this. The tab was hidden. Thanks, Ace, for this therapy. Only if we had Jack for those 21 games he missed. Yeah. Keep up the good work from your Cape Breton and Nova Scotia, bud. Thanks a lot, Wasted Youth. It sucks. This is the season of Chicago cut. It's honestly 3 things. I said this the other day. Chicago cut, the Fitz fumble of Quinn Hughes, and Jack the golden goal boy. Had we had Jack those 21 games that he missed, you'd like to think the season's different. But every year, our entire hopes and dreams are built on Jack Hughes, and that's not necessarily good either. And I hate to say it, that is an indictment on the rest of the core. You cannot just disappear and do nothing when Jack goes down. In those moments, you need the other guys to be your best players even more so now. When Jack goes down, you want guys like Nico, Brad, or Timo to be scoring at a crazy clip. And I think for a little while, Timo had improved production when Jack was out. But the team overall just disappeared. And it sucks that going into next year, the narrative is going to be exactly the same. Fitz is going to make whatever moves he makes, probably a few. But people are going to be like, oh, look how the Devils finished last season, meaning this season. They're probably going to finish with a decent record, I would think, overall after the Olympic break. I mean, we just went on around a 4-game heater now. And they're going to say, if Jack Hughes stays healthy, this team could do X, Y, Z. And it's kind of true, but you have to be insulated from one injury. You can't just be one injury away from your team being a cup hopeful to a complete dog shit lottery team. Like, it cannot be that. And so hopefully these other guys figured out for next season. We do get a top 6 winger, would be beautiful. A couple of the right bottom 6 pieces. And the team is a little more insulated if Jack misses some time at some point. And we're hoping he doesn't. Every season, it's the same hope. But yeah, I completely agree. If Chicago cut never happened, if we had Jack all season, we certainly would be, if not in a playoff spot right now, which we'd certainly be much closer. And like I said, even 3 more wins at any point, you have 3 more wins at any point from the season, and you're talking about a lot different outlook on this home stretch going forward. So it really sucks. Hopefully next year is the year he stays healthy. We get no cut fingers at restaurants, at team dinners, and we make a run. Zach says, I have a rule. If it's not a natty hattie, I'm not throwing my hat. Zach, that's a joke, dude. It needs to be a natural hat trick for you to throw your hat. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous. American swagger. American swagger. Beautiful hoodies and t-shirts available on the site now. It's almost over. The window's almost closed. Instagram hockey. Zach said, I caught that when you first posted it. Great convo with the Rags fan. Yeah, how about you guys just hit the link and let it play anyway? Because I'm getting punished in the algorithm now. Damn it. All this stuff is annoying. Wasted Youth, that's why I need another dog to fill in. Too bad we didn't get Panarin, and I know he's a rag, but would have made a difference. I'd rather use that money on somebody else. Doug, there's a Rangers fan who runs an Insta account reacting to games, and he fell in love with Jack over the Olympics and just posted the hat-trick graphic saying, I'll let this one slide. It's what a gold medal will do. I know, Zach, but hat-tricks don't happen that often. You got to launch that shit. SJ, we are close. Might have to trade Nemo to get a really young impact player, and I thought they could have done it. Cody Skills, Ace, do you think we win tomorrow and by what score? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go 4-2. Anson would love to see a massive sombrero on the ice. That'd be nice. Dylan, I wanted to throw my hat, but I had a net in front of me. That's an acceptable excuse. Acceptable excuse. Selected Boy said, who said it had to be a natural hat trick to throw the hat? No, that's Zach's personal rule. Matthew, I got so excited I threw my wife's wedding ring on the ice today. We'll most likely be hearing about that tonight. Traveling, there's an Italian woman in Italy wearing a Devils hat. Oh, we'll tell that story on a future one when you come on a live, Traveling. That Rags fan. I put a parental advisory on the thing. I put a parental advisory. All right, guys, do me a favor though. Let this vlog play. Even if you already saw it, just be a good sport and click on the link and let it play. You don't have to watch it because I'm going to get punished in the stupid algorithm because there was something in there that they could have came after me for because the stupid artwork was in the background. It's a whole lot of nonsense. But let that thing play in the background. Be a good person and let that play. All right, but that's it, folks. I got some stuff to do. The New Jersey Devils, 4 in a row, thumping the Rangers by a score of 6-3 off of the power of a jack trick. Our boy Jack Hughes gets the Hattie on the empty net with an assist to go with it. A 4-point night. The domination of the Rangers continue. 4 in a row, playing the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will be back. Hopefully they make it 5 in a row. And everyone be like, Zach, see, you're a sport, Zach. Thank you, sir. He threw a comment and a like. Play the link I just dropped. Just play it and comment and like. Thank you. I need help here because I'm going to get punished in the algorithm. And if, we got to keep the shit moving and all this stuff matters. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. Would appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up on the way out and be a good person. And hit that video, the vlog. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's pretty funny. One of my favorite interviews of all the people I talked to in Milano was this dude that was a Ranger fan. And we talked a lot when it wasn't filming too. Funny conversations. But that's it, guys. Tomorrow, back in action against the Wings. Hopefully we make it 5 in a row and try to make it interesting down the stretch. Make it interesting down the stretch is all we could do. That's it. Feels good to beat the Rangers, though. No tanking. Winners only. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends. Let's go.